What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Thursday, July 18th, 2024. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here. I'm also a casino host and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why into their profession and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on here today. She's a TED speaker. She's a award-winning business and social media coach. She is also founder and CEO of the Social Butterfly Gal. She also is a Texas State University alum. We're going to get to talk to her a little bit and talk to her about her why, of why she founded and why she's the CEO of that. Get to talk to her about some of her TED talks that she's had as well. Her name is Christina Jovanna Oliverez. Well, hello there, Christina. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very good. It's absolutely wonderful to see you. You look absolutely amazing. I just want to say that first off.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your flexibility and accommodating me. I got sick right after the conference and I was on the day of, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to chat when I'm coughing and sounding horrible. So thank you so much for accommodating me.
No question. You are definitely worth the wait to talk to. I know you are also trying to power through a conference that same time as well, which we will get into. And I would definitely want you to talk about that. But first off, I want to ask you, how is your week going so far?
My week is going really well. It's hot over here in Texas.
Mm.
But I'm excited because I got some clients this week and I'm just really looking forward to the work that's coming in the next couple of weeks. So it's been going good so far.
I'm glad to hear that. Let me reiterate to you why I wanted to bring you on my podcast. I know you're a TED Talk person. You're a TED speaker, so you public speak at times. I know you're founder and CEO of the Social Butterfly Gal, which is something I'm very intrigued of hearing about and how you came up about that. I
Yeah.
also know you went to Texas State University and got your degree in communication. And I'm somebody who got a degree in communication as well. I went to Kennesaw State University. I am a sports reporter. So I love to report. I love to talk to people. I love to interview people. I love to have conversations with people, which is something that you also like to do. So I
Too.
love the fact that we're likewise like that. And I just want to hear your journey and your story.
Yeah.
Obviously, being in Texas, I'm very familiar with Texas because my brother lives there. So
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate to you and say thank you for once again coming on and joining me on my podcast.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for this conversation.
Absolutely. So let's get started. The first question that I
Okay.
normally have for everybody that comes on here is, what is your why? What is your why of doing what you do? Did you have any role models growing up? Was it something that you always wanted to do? Did it fall into your lap? What is your why of getting into communication?
I love this question so much because as a kid, I was very creative and I was really just wanting to be out, really outgoing, right? I wanted to be what I like to call out in the spotlight. And I first came about communications just by watching the news. I felt like that was sort of my calling, was to be on camera and to inform people about specific things, but also to just really be visible and be inspiring and tell other people's stories. And I
Sure.
feel like my why has always been centered around community. It's always been at the core of everything that I do in my trajectory of my career. But there
Mhm.
was always this community aspect, especially when it came to Latinas and our just our Hispanic demographic. I was born and raised down in the Rio Grande Valley, and so
Okay.
community is something that is so important to me. And I felt like as I was going within my career, it ended up kind of shifting. My why kind of shifted to more of, I want to be able to help someone live out their purpose. I
Okay.
want to be able to inspire them to take the leap in whatever they want to do and
Mhm.
not let the fear monster hold them back from reaching their biggest potential. And I feel like communications, the industry, with all of these tools that we have, is something that I'm so grateful to have that gift and that skill, because it is through the gift of public speaking. It is through the gift of being on camera, and it is through the gift of just intentional one-to-one coaching that I have that opportunity to build community and to help others reach their potential.
Absolutely. I love that. Now, we spoke about it a little bit before. You went to Texas State University, which is in San Marcos, Texas. I want to know, was there any other schools that you were considering that may have persuaded you from Texas State University?
You know, I'm an only child, and I knew that part of my college journey was getting out of my hometown, but I also felt like I didn't want to go too far. And I felt like Texas State, it's in the middle of San Antonio and Austin, which now San Antonio I currently live in and have
Mhm.
called it my home for the last 13 years. But I
Awesome.
felt like Texas State was one of those schools that I felt like I could flourish and I could get out of my shell, because even though I'm really outgoing and I am like a social butterfly, I
Sure.
was still very shy. And I grew up in a region where we were 98% Hispanic.
Okay.
So when I left my hometown, I experienced culture shock. And I also experienced this notion of, can I do this? Like, I think for so many minority and people of color, like, not that they don't believe in us, but it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, you'll be back. Like, I was always told, like, oh, you'll be back home. It's okay.
Sure.
Like, if you make it one semester, and you know what? I made it through, and I graduated 3.5 years. And the communications department at Texas State was something that I just took a hold of. And I was like, yeah, this is the reason why I'm going to this school. And this is why I want to pursue my education here. And so I wasn't really looking for other options. Quite frankly, I didn't know that other options existed or that
Mm.
they could exist. So, like, it never was my dream to go to an Ivy League school, because that dream or those opportunities or those options just weren't available. And
Sure.
I think even too about
Mm.
like student loans or just like everything that we go through, like, I don't think my parents could even fathom like what it would be like to pursue, if I were to pursue that in terms of paying, and what
Yeah.
that tuition would look like. So I think that Texas State really provided me to get out of my shell. It also provided me a way to still be close to my family and still go see them on the weekends. And it allowed me to build the necessary skills that I now use in today's, entrepreneurship journey.
I love that. And I love the fact that you said about the minorities thing, because it is so true, right? Sometimes you really do need to kind of step out of your element. And, for a guy like me who's in my 30s now,
Mhm.
coming up here to Minnesota, this is predominantly like 93% Caucasian, the
Yeah.
area I'm in right now. So
Uh,
it's a little different. It was definitely a culture shock because I'm coming from Atlanta, Georgia, which is very diverse out
yeah.
there. There's a lot of different minorities and ethnicities around. So coming up here was like, whoa, like I don't see a whole lot of us up here. So, but it's another good thing to do because it's a way to open your horizons a little bit and experience something else and see
Right.
how comfortable you can get in something that could be uncomfortable, right? So, and I love thriving in that. I really do live my life like that, Christina, now is like thriving the uncomfortable because for me, if you're able to do that, I think it really builds your character. And it
Mhm.
also it really helps you grow as a person to be able to deal with uncomfortable things that come your way.
Right.
not just with dealing with ethnicities, but also other situations as well. If you can deal with one thing that's uncomfortable, you can deal with other things that's uncomfortable. So I really like that you pointed that out. They thought you would come back home and you was
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm going to tough it out. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to do this and we'll make it
Yeah.
work like that.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I feel that. Okay. So let me get into some favorite questions.
Okay.
Okay. So I have
Okay.
some favorite questions listed here. You just give me the 411 off the rip and let me know what some of your favorite things are. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Let's rock. Favorite meal you like to cook?
I don't cook. My husband is the one that cooks, so kudos to
Mm,
him. But
mhm.
if I cook, it's literally like a sandwich because that's all I really know what to do. I'm like a toddler when I eat. I am like chicken fingers and just like pizza. But believe it or not, like my
Oh,
husband's the chef in our family, and so I'm so grateful for that.
well, shout out to Christina's husband, no doubt, holding it down. I appreciate that. Oh man, you said chicken tenders, or chicken fingers. You said okay.
Yeah.
All right, we gonna move past that question, Christina. We're gonna move past that. Okay, here we go. Favorite concert you like to attend, or you have attended, I should say.
Ooh, that's a great one. I am a huge Britney Spears fan.
Wow.
And I had the honor of seeing her in Vegas when on the day that I turned 25. So it was like this was back in 2016. And so when she did her residency, one of her concerts landed on my birthday. And so my husband, we flew out. I had no idea I was going to go to see her. This was like my second time seeing her in concert. I never saw her when I was a kid. And so like when I finally got to see her as an adult, it just felt so amazing and like just the energy in that room that day. So I feel like that was my favorite. But I mean, I'm always I'm such a millennial, so I'm gonna say in sync, and I hope that they come back on tour.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Britney Spears and NSYNC. I like that. I do. You're the first of my episodes to mention those two together. So I love that. I really do. Okay. Here we go. Favorite restaurant to eat at in San Antonio?
Ooh, so there are great hole in the wall Mexican foods,
Now you talk.
Mexican restaurants. So
Hmm.
up down the road, kind of like central in downtown, there is a Mexican restaurant called Pete's Taco House. And it is authentic, like Mexican food, because obviously when you go to San Antonio, the one place you want to go to is the Riverwalk. But a lot of those restaurants are a little bit more Tex-Mex. And so that is one of my favorite spots to eat. They have really good tacos. They have really great, just like enchiladas. And so if you're ever in San Antonio, I would look up Pete's Taco House.
Oh, there's no question. I'm definitely gonna make a trip there, and I definitely will have to hit you up for some recommendations for sure.
Yeah.
No question. Here we
Yeah.
go. Two more favorites. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Paris. I loved Paris. That was my first time going abroad, and I kind of manifested that trip. I had told my husband that I really wanted to go for our anniversary every year we always take a trip, and
Hmm.
that was our second year anniversary. And back in the summer, I was like, we're gonna go abroad this year. Didn't think it was going to happen. And then it literally just manifested itself and we went. And this was like 2 months before COVID. So it was just like crazy I think like it was already starting to like hit in places, but
Wow.
we walked. I mean, it was in December. So there was like a lot of Christmas things and it just was so magical. And it really lived up to the expectation that I had around traveling abroad. And I really like want to go back again and continue to travel because it really does open your eyes.
Definitely on the bucket list for sure. I'm going on a cruise, a family, I should say. My dad set it up. Going on a cruise later this year in October. We're going to go to Jamaica, Mexico, to the Cayman Islands, and then we're porting off of Miami. So it's my first cruise I've ever been on in my life. So I'm very excited to go on.
We went to Jamaica for our honeymoon and loved it. I would go back
Okay.
again. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So listen, I'm also going to probably have to hit you up for some things to do in Jamaica. Although we're only going to be there about 8 hours. Port there. I think we're going to be at Fairmont or Paramount or something like that in
Uh-huh.
Jamaica. I do know, but you got to tell me some good things because they're trying to find some excursions to do
Ooh.
to do in Jamaica. So we'll see. As a family, we're going to try to do something for sure. Last of the favorites. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV and favorite sport you like to see in person. They could be the same sport.
Favorite sport to watch on TV is definitely football. Obviously, in Texas, we're really Cowboys fans.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm
I
sorry.
know, I am sorry too.
Mm,
And so I would say like football, but here in San Antonio, there is the San Antonio Spurs. And
mhm.
so I had just moved. So favorite sport to watch in person is probably NBA basketball. When
Okay.
I moved to San Antonio, that was the year that the Spurs and the Heat had that rivalry. And
Hmm.
when I first moved, they lost the finals. And then the next year they won the finals. And
Yeah.
I will tell you, the energy in this city when they won was incredible. It was electric. I've never experienced anything like that before. And I went to the parade down on the Riverwalk when after they won for the championship celebration. And I still get goosebumps. Like it was such an amazing thing to take place. And so NBA for sure. But I played volleyball all through my
Mm.
middle school and junior high. I played club volleyball. So I was very active in sports. And I thought, like always, you're like, oh, maybe I could get a scholarship here and there. But I was a libero and a setter. And so
Yep.
volleyball was sort of my passion up until I graduated.
Now, typically, libero and setters are not to call you like many, but you
Yeah.
might be short. Typically, they are short. I don't know how tall you are, but I know the ones that I've seen and I've covered out here, as far as the college and high schools, they're pretty short. They're like 5'5" and under.
Yeah, I'm 4'11". And
Oh,
so, yeah, I'm 4'11". So like as a libero, I was just like in the back doing all the things. And then even as a setter as well, I would always just like move fairly quickly. So those were the
got
two
you.
favorite positions that they always had me in. And I was so grateful because yeah, no middle blocker, no nothing. We're
I
just gonna
feel
get
that.
it. Yeah.
Well, see, I was thinking, okay, maybe she might jump well. Like maybe you did jump well, and you know stuff like that. And obviously, you're the first guest that I've had on here that I'm a foot taller than.
Yeah.
I've never had a guest on here that I'm about a foot taller. Most of the guests a few inches, but yes, I'm close to 6 feet. So that actually makes me happy, pretty good. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
happy about it. Okay. Also, with that being said, I want to talk to you about the social butterfly, right? The SBG. I want to know, how was it founded? Because you are the founder and CEO of that. I want to know
Mhm.
how the conference went, secondly, because this is something that you've been doing for a few years. And obviously, you've been doing it for a few years, but it's also probably been on your mind way before when. So I want to know the origins of how this came about. And also, when you're done telling me, tell me how the conference went this year and
I
stuff like
will. Yeah, so Social Butterfly Gal is my first company that I founded, I'm the CEO of, and originally it was a blog. And the reason
that.
why it started off as a blog was because when I got out of college, I was interviewing for different TV reporting positions.
Yep.
So all my life, I wanted to be a news reporter. I wanted to hone in more on entertainment reporting. So I
Mhm.
always had a dream to be on E! News or to be on Good Morning America or even to
I can
even be
definitely see
on
that.
a yeah, even to be on a red carpet at an Emmys, or an
Yep.
Oscars. And so I interned at different TV stations locally here in San Antonio. And every time I was going to a TV interview, I was often told like you just don't have the look, or you need to change. A big one was you need to cut your hair, or wear this different. And it was very it was very
That can be
disturbing.
disheartening to hear.
Yeah, disturbing, disheartening, and it made me feel like I was trying to be put in a box that wasn't me. And so
Hmm.
I did a couple more interviews, and then finally when I like to call it like my big break, where I finally made it through different rounds in the TV interview process. There
Right.
was new lifestyle show that was going to be launching here in San Antonio, and I made it to like the second round. And then when I didn't get it, I felt so defeated and just I wasn't in a good place mentally. And so something that I thought about was, well, I need to get my mind off of all of these interviews. What do I really love to do that's very creative and that can just get my mind off of what I'm experiencing? And
Sure.
so at that time, this was 2013, 2014. So
Okay.
if you can imagine social media at that point, there was
Yeah.
hardly any, there was the
Right.
Facebook, there was Twitter, and there was Instagram,
Right.
but it wasn't the
It was
way
still
it was.
MySpace too. Do you remember MySpace?
I do. Oh my God. That's where I learned how
Yeah.
to code.
Right.
And
Right.
so I just picked up my laptop one day and said, let me start a blog because I need to get my mind off of everything, all the rejections. And so
Okay.
I made the decision to pivot into public relations because so many people were telling me, well, don't forget, communications can be anything. It doesn't have to be TV reporting. It could
Right.
look like public relations, it could look like media training, all the things, right? Like that's why we have these really important skills that we learn throughout the course of our college careers. And so at that point I ended up getting a part-time job with a public relations consultant, and it was like a PR firm. And so I thought, well, if I start blogging about my experience and
Hmm.
all the things that I'm doing, they're going to see that and they're going to see how dedicated I am to their company so that they
Sure.
can have me full time, right? So essentially, I was building my personal brand without even knowing it. And
Mm.
I started the reason why it was Social Butterfly Gal was I'm often known as Social Butterfly because I'm very energetic and I'm very social. And
Mm.
so when I typed in Social Butterfly, it was already taken, like the domain was taken. And so
Sure.
I said, you know what? I'm from Texas. So instead of girl, let's call it gal because
Gal.
I'm
Gal. Yeah.
Texan.
Right.
And the name just stuck. And so throughout the beginning portions, I was just blogging. I was doing a lot of public relations events. I was doing a lot of fashion events as a social media because I was managing their social media. And then maybe about a year into that blog, the woman that I was working with, she had said, you're starting to build this brand. Have you
Hmm.
ever thought about turning it into your own social media agency? And of course, I was like, why would I want to do that? I want to work with you. And then
Right. Right.
she kind of like planted that seed. And I said, you know what? Like, if I'm already managing her client's social media, then I don't see why I can't do it for other companies. Like, I don't see why I can't have my own clients and my own sort of agency. And
Right.
then I ended up turning that blog into my LLC. And the very first kind of clients that I had was more of restaurants. So I was doing their social media for a pizza company here, a pizza restaurant. I was doing social media for one of the largest festivals that happens here in San Antonio called Fiesta San Antonio.
Okay.
Um, it's a 10-day festival in April. You should come. It is incredible. It's insane.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I was just doing things here and there. And then I was often like my very first client was a speaking engagement. So I was getting organizations to have me come out and speak to their teams about building personal brands and utilizing social media. So I was really starting to cultivate what I now feel is like the brand. And then
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was, doing this for, I would say 3 years. And then I was going to different networking events here. And I was always recognizing that I was often the only Latina in the room. And I
Hmm.
was often the only young person in the room.
Hmm.
And while I was in these networking circles, I was recognizing that when it came down to business education and resources, Latina business owners here in San Antonio, Texas are very underfunded and underserved. And
Right.
so that just made me angry. And I remember going on Facebook and being like, I don't understand. How is this the case? And there were so many comments like, oh no, you're correct. Like there's not a lot of resources. And so that's when I made the decision to launch a conference, because originally I wanted to have a conference specifically for social media. But
Yeah.
then I was recognizing that there was a lot of women here who were not being served. I said, oh, I think that I need to have a conference. And so I launched my second company, Hustle and Socialize, in 2018 with my
Wow.
best friend of 22 years. Now we're like 23 years, but I had a co-founder at that time. And so
Mhm.
her and I did 4 years together. So we had two in-person conferences, and then the pandemic happened. So we did
Yep.
two virtual conferences. And then in 2021, she ended up leaving the company to run for Congress in 2022 for the midterms.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's she doing over there? Is you guys
So
still connect?
yeah, so she lost her race in 22, but she's running again in 2024. And
Okay.
so because of all that, I ended up buying her out of the company and took over as 100% owner of Hustle and Socialize as of 2023.
That's
Thankfully,
awesome.
we are still best friends, like
Okay.
nothing changed. I think,
Okay.
one of the most beautiful things about that era was I think we learned about our visions and how each one of us had one common vision. But now as we got older and we recognized like where our strengths are,
Hmm.
we just realized we had to go our separate ways in order for things to grow. And so thankfully we're still best friends. I'm actually going down this weekend to go support her at her campaign event.
Awesome.
And so when I took over the company, I ended up rebranding and made the decision to not take on any more social media management clients, and made the decision to pivot into coaching. Because what I was recognizing throughout this journey, if you will, like those last
Hmm.
in the pandemic, really in the
Right.
pandemic, was
Right.
I have such passion for social media and so much passion for women empowerment and community building, which goes back to the why, right?
Right.
However, when it came to social media, I was starting to recognize that I didn't really want to just help build a business's social media. Like, I'm not looking to be for a day to day,
Mhm.
we're going to film the content, we're going to do all that. I was recognizing that I have so much passion for transforming the lives of women, for
Okay.
making them recognize that they have these tools of social media to leverage when it comes to sharing their own voice and their own stories.
Mm.
And that's when I recognized, I'm great at social media management. I actually won 3 awards while I was
Yep.
with Fiesta.
Yep.
And was very, fortunate that my work of the strategy and the work that I was doing got recognized. But that's when I realized I could either go the agency route and continue to work with clients and, help them with their TikTok and help them with their Facebook and Instagram, or I
Hmm.
could pivot into what I really do feel is my main purpose, which is
Right.
really helping Latinas be more visible and helping them be more authentic. Because I think we live in a world where there's so many, our society is just trying to like push down our authenticity, and we have to be a certain way in order to be perceived well in the workforce. And I was recognizing that every time I was working specifically with women in social media, they were always just kind of held back from putting themselves out there on camera, and also like networking and putting, so many of them wanted to be on stages, but they just felt like they were imposters. And so when my business partner, when she left, I think that really opened up a different side of social media that I never saw. And so
Right.
that allowed me to blend the two together, which goes to Hustle and Socialize. So
Okay.
the conference that I do is every June. So this was the 6th annual one that we did. So mind you, it was like two, and then I had one by myself. And then this was the second one by myself. This one
Okay.
was way larger and way more national
And back in person, right? Back in person this one.
Right, back in person. So
Okay.
2023, we were back in person since COVID because
Okay.
2022, I didn't want to do a full conference because I was really kind of trying to maneuver the split, like the acquisition with my co-founder.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to do a conference. And at that point, we still kind of were coming out of COVID. And so a
Sure.
lot of venues were not really wanting to have big time events, which was so understandable. And so in 2023, I hosted the first one back in person since COVID, and it was the first one by myself. And then this one was the second one, but this one we had more people from California, Florida, Georgia. I mean, we had a lot of people come from out of state, and it was just so incredible. It's so exciting to see where this conference is going and where it's headed, and also just to see the amount of impact that it has for our community here in San Antonio, but also for the impact that it has for everybody else that's coming.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I know I'm not Latina or a female, which I love and support all of my Hispanics out there. I really do as a fellow minority, but this is something that seems incredible, like to even go to and attend.
Yeah.
Somebody like myself, what would I be able to learn from something like this, like a conference like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the programming that we do is based on my framework that I cultivated, which are the 3 M's in business. So
Hmm.
in business, one, in order to be sustainable, you need to understand your finances.
Sure.
So at the conference, we bring in different financial institutions to come in and speak about how to have a relationship with your banker. What does it
Okay.
look like from a tax strategy perspective? What does
Hmm.
managing your cash flow look like, right? Like all of the different, how to even access funding and get access to VCs or even just like a loan or a grant. So we focus first on that aspect. And then the second piece is marketing. We look at how are you building your brand online? What are the things that are coming up in tech? So all of the AI that we're learning, being a
Yeah.
minority that is in tech, we're looking at emerging tech and what does that look like for the next phases of our businesses. And then the last
Sure.
piece is the mindset piece. So we
Okay.
do focus a lot on understanding stress management, how to better time manage, looking at your relationships that you have with yourself, and really kind of cultivate a great holistic view of like what an entrepreneur is in today's world. And so those are the things. I mean, we do keynotes, we have breakout sessions.
Mm.
We also like to have fun. So my MCs are comedians, and they do skits, and we have like special surprises. But the whole really goal is like you are there to connect with other like-minded individuals. You're there to get visible, and you're also there to take action to grow your business. And so that's what we, really hone in on in that day. And because it is one day, obviously the work continues. So then if for anybody who comes, if they want, more coaching, that's where they can work with me inside of my coaching programs.
This is something that's definitely going to be in my mind for the seventh annual, whenever that does come up. So you and I would definitely stay in contact and stay in
Yes.
close. No
Yes.
question about that.
Yeah.
Now, even though you're doing all these wonderful things, Christina, which is amazing, right? There's always a B side, and what the B side is, like for example, for me, I storytell. You said you wanted to be a news reporter. All of us do. Really, all of us love to be in front of the camera. We love to tell stories. We love to help people. I love to help people. I love to tell stories for my community. There's no greater feeling when I go to a gas station, go to a grocery store, somebody stops up to me and says, "Thank you for the story you did on my baby."
Oh,
I appreciate that, ma'am. I really do. But there's always a B side. And the B side is mental health and work-life balance.
yeah.
Now, I'm a 30-year-old or a 30 plus, sorry, 30 plus year old bachelor. Okay. And sports are nights and weekends. It's very
Oh,
it's very tough to go out with somebody at midnight. It is. It's tough to build that kind of relationship with people. Like you have friends, but I'm talking about like a significant other. But you have a husband, you have a
mhm,
business, you have a
mhm.
family, you're there in Texas. These are hours that are not conventional, but you are entrepreneurs, so you kind of are hustle and bustle, right? So
Right.
tell me, how do you keep your mental health strong, but also continue to have that work-life balance? Because like I said, you do have other priorities as well. It can
Yeah.
be tough at times to do.
I'm so fortunate to be able to have access to therapy. And so I feel like therapy, one, I've always been in therapy since I went to college when I was
Mm,
experiencing culture shock.
mhm,
So
mhm.
my very first time asking for help was when I was 19. I knew something was wrong. I knew I was experiencing a lot of anxiety. And so I went to the student health center at Texas State and was like, I don't know what's going on with me. And so, because of therapy and gaining more knowledge in different tools that I could use, it really was helpful for me as I grew into adulthood and grew into my, just the work that I do. Because entrepreneurship, I always say, like, it is the most grueling, mentally taxing,
Sure,
thing that you could ever do. I really feel it exposes so much of our traumas. It really like makes you head on understand like how to regulate your emotions and
sure.
understand your nervous
Yeah,
system. And
yeah,
so I would always kind of go off and on from therapy, but it wasn't until the pandemic that I was like, no, I need to get back into it. And so I've been in therapy like, full on since 2020. And I'm so grateful because I don't know how I was telling my therapist yesterday, I was like, I don't know how anyone cannot have this. Like, it's so helpful. And I feel like I have also learned that I need hobbies that have
yeah.
nothing to do with work. Like,
Okay.
I need something that is going to get my mind off of my work because it is really hard to turn it off. And this year has actually been a very stressful year because a year ago in July, my
Hmm.
husband got laid off from his job.
Wow.
And so we were like, what do we do? Because, he was the one that had the stable job. And so if for some reason, if I wasn't getting clients or, if I just had a slow month, it would be okay because we had steady income. But when he
Right,
got laid off, it was like, oh crap, what are we going to do? And
right,
he
right.
actually decided to launch his business. He has a master's in exercise sports science. So he is doing like fitness coaching. And so we've just been really
Making it work.
making it work.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I recognize that like as we're in, I mean, he's been very involved. I always joke that I'm going to hire him very soon. Very soon, I'm going to hire him as
Hmm.
my director of ops. But we joke about, these things, but also like it's super mentally taxing. And so I've learned that I need hobbies. I need something that's going to like not, and so I started coloring. Like I just went, what I decided to do was like think about everything that I loved to do as a kid, right? Because I
Sure.
think like, as we grow into our 30s, right? We
Yep.
kind of forget about all the things that we really love to do that weren't stressful. And so
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
started
agree.
to, yeah, I started to color and I'm trying to get into painting. Like I remember as a kid, we would paint the solar system in third or fourth grade. And so, Legos, like building things, something that's going to take my mind off of my balance sheet and my profit and loss statements and like cash flow, or like,
Sure.
what am I going
Sure.
to do at the conference? I mean, this year was probably the most mentally taxing because I had way more expenses because I was hiring people, which is such a beautiful thing to do because I was giving business to other women, but it was also like, can I be able to do this? And so I feel like because I have access and have that privilege to therapy, I feel like that has really helped me navigate all of this like tough journey of making your own income, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
On here with Christina Jovanna Oliverez. Hopefully I said that right, on my Work Hard,
Oh,
Play
got
Harder
it.
podcast. Talking about mental health and work-life balance. I'm glad that I asked this question. I typically ask it to every guest that I have on here. Everybody goes through things. Everybody is dealing with something different, but also everybody handles mental health differently.
Yeah.
You said hobbies. That's something I look for too. I like to work out. I like to go to the gym, like to turn on my rap music and burn a little bit. work out a little bit. I
Yeah.
also like writing poetry. Poetry
Oh,
is one of my things. So I love writing poems. I love doing that. I'm also somebody who loves to throw game night.
mm,
So I'll have game night in my house where I'll have either some board games, some card games, or dominoes or spades or something like that, just to
yeah.
kind of have some fun a little bit with some friends, right? But mental health is very important, and I know my mental health was definitely affected when I first moved here because, again, I said it was a culture shock. I don't have any family here close to me. My mother, my aunt are in Georgia, and my
Mm.
uncle's in Georgia. My dad, my stepmom, and my little brother's in New York.
Oh,
So I don't
wow.
have any immediate family here.
Mm,
And I'm somebody who's a mama's boy. So I definitely call her up at least twice a week.
yeah.
Sometimes just to hear her voice, sometimes just to make sure that she's doing okay. And if she needs anything, I'm here.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where I needed that support system. And it sounds like therapy for you is your support system along with your family and getting those hobbies as well. Being able to talk about things where, you don't have, you can talk to family, but you kind of know what family's going to tell you, right?
Right.
You kind of
Right.
know they're gonna be swayed one way or the other, but a therapist is going to give you the absolute real. And you can
Yeah,
be as real as you possibly can because they're neutral. They don't know you. So
exactly.
it's awesome that you talk about that. And I wish more people talk about going to therapy.
Hmm.
If they do it, a lot of people are ashamed and
Yeah.
don't want to talk about it, but it's important. It's important to have it because you got to have an outlet.
It is. And like, I feel I've always been very vocal about it. And I always like even tell my parents because I know that they've also struggled, especially during the pandemic as well. Like, my dad had COVID and was in
Yeah.
the hospital for 10 days and he was
Wow.
super isolated. It was like during the height of the pandemic. And so I'm always making it a point to talk about it. And I feel like my experiences have also really like opened a different aspect at the conference as well. Like, I always make sure that it's a really brave space and a safe space, but
Sure.
also that we're able to have these conversations because I feel like when you acknowledge it and when you say things, it makes you feel closer to other people and understand that
Sure.
like you're not alone. And I feel like that's what I want other entrepreneurs to know is like you're not alone. Like it is entrepreneurship is so lonely.
It
And especially
is.
like I work by myself, like of course I have contractors and I have an assistant, but the majority of the time I am working at my co-space by myself. So I don't
Right.
have any, in other coworkers, like it's just me. And so that's so lonely.
Absolutely. If someone, Christina, came up to you,
Mhm.
right? Maybe a graduate, an intern, or somebody that wants to be an entrepreneur, somebody that may want to go into journalism like I have, or somebody that may be like us in our 30s, same age. What kind of advice would you give to them about becoming or starting a business? Because I think that would probably be the most important thing is a lot of people just don't know where to start.
Right. They don't know where to start. And so I actually oddly enough, I had two graduates reach out to me this week asking
Mhm.
that same question. And one thing I told them was, you will never know unless you don't try, right? Like you'll
Right.
never know if this was meant for you. And so I always say like get to a place where you can do some deep self-reflection and ask yourself like, what is my why? What is my purpose?
Mhm.
In a day, if 5 years from now, like future self, what does a day in the life look like for me? What am I doing? Who am I helping? What does it look like? And I feel like once you start doing these exercises, you kind of get a little bit more clear on the path that you want to take. Because
Right.
I think that so many people are like, well, I don't know, I don't even know how to start a business. And everybody thinks it's knowledge. And it's like, it is not knowledge because we could literally go on to Google, to TikTok, to Instagram, to even ChatGPT and write out, how do I start a business? How do I create an LLC? And it will tell you
Sure.
step by step of what to do. You just got to take the
Mhm.
steps, right? Like, now I do feel like, of course, I wish there was like a checklist of like, this is how you go to the Secretary of State to file an
Mhm.
LLC.
Mhm.
But
Right, right.
like a lot of it is more of that mental load, right? So I always say like get very centered on all of the things that make you light up, that really truly, like, I know my three are community building, confidence building, and social media, digital media, communications, everything, storytelling, right? Those are my three that I feel are like at my core, the value system. And then I would also say, like, test it out. No one is telling you that once you become once you make the jump, that that's what you're going to be doing forever. Like,
Right.
if it works out, it works out. But give yourself a little time for yourself to actually see if it's something that you want to do. So, like, for example, I gave myself, like, when I first started, I said, all right, for the first 6 months, I'm going to see if I could get clients. And if I could at least score 2 social media management clients at this rate,
Sure.
then I know, okay, I've got something. I got something, right? And it ended up, just kind of like going. And same thing with the conference. Like, I told I started that conference within 2 months. Like,
Okay.
I told somebody that I wanted to do this conference. They worked in the city. They started to help me. We released the tickets in April of 2018, and the conference, the first one, was in June of 2018. So literally like 2 months. And so, but I gave myself that time, and I was like, if it works, cool. If it doesn't, well, at least I tried. And I feel like I want so many young people to know, like, it's not really a lack of knowledge, because are we are a generation that has knowledge at the tip of our fingertips. It's more of the belief in yourself and the action that you're going to take. Because if you don't take that action, you can have all the dreams that you want. But, like, if
Yeah.
you're not actively taking that action, it won't happen. And it also, like, it's such a blessing when you try something and then maybe it doesn't go the way you thought it was in your head, but now
Sure.
you have all of that knowledge. And now you can say, hey, I actually did it. I accomplished my goal. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but here's what I learned and here's what I'm going to do now. And maybe it's a little bit more aligned. And so I feel like, I told somebody the other day that communications, our industry, is not given the most respect,
No,
because
for sure.
we are doing the work. Like, we are the ones that are creating those local news stories.
Yeah.
We're sharing like really important information, and we use these tools. And so it's not a respectable profession. And sometimes like, people are like, oh, why are you vacations?
Right.
But it's such a duty that we have, a calling that we have. And so I always just say, like, if you want to get into entrepreneurship, just try it. Have your backup plans, or, like, don't, like, I don't have a backup plan. I'm like, entrepreneurship is my calling. We're going to stick this out. And if it's slow, we're going to stick it out. Like, I always tell my
Right.
that, I'm like, there's no plan B. My plan A is this, and we're just going to figure it out.
I feel it. I feel it.
So I just feel like, try it, but also know, like, understand your finances, like, understand what you have to do in order to survive, because obviously
Sure.
at the end of the day, we still got to pay our bills.
Absolutely. Like you said, every situation is different, but it's also a great question to ask, because there are a lot of peoples out there that want to be entrepreneurs. What they call them now,
Yeah.
content creators, right? Because now the traditional way is kind of waned, right? The traditional was go to school, get a degree, get some experience.
Yep.
You got to learn business, you got to learn this. Well, now people are just picking up their phones and, like you're saying, going to Chat GPT and asking, how do you do such and such? And now you
Yep.
have a robotic system that's giving you line by line of how to do things. It's so funny that you said Chat GPT, because I'm in school getting my master's in professional writing at the moment. So I'll be done by next May. And one of the classes is an AI class that's
Oh,
using Chat GPT. And that's one of our projects. So I'm learning how to do and work with Chat GPT as a sports, freelance sports journalist. So
wow.
it's crazy how things intertwine like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
with that being said, we have came to the portion now of this or that.
Ooh,
And
cool.
what this is, I'm throwing two things at you. And
Okay.
Christina, you just got to choose this or that. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay, here we go. This first one is important, Christina.
Okay.
Popeyes or KFC?
Popeyes.
Now I know we can be friends. Now I know we can be friends. We good now, girl. You good in my heart now. All right, here we go. We starting off good. When it comes to chicken wing flavors, barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue.
Okay. Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Wet.
Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Bone in.
So you like to
Boneless?
get messy.
Yeah, I was like, boneless is like chicken tenders, nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Bone in.
I've definitely heard that about 1,013 times. That's for sure. No question about it. I love it though. I'm a messy eater as well. I'm barbecue too. I'm team barbecue as well. Here we go. These next four questions have to do with music concerts you rather attend. Okay.
Okay.
So here we go. Which artists would you rather see in person? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Kendrick Lamar. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, girl, we vibing now. We vibing. All right, here we go. Here we go. Next one. Which artist would you rather see in person? You rather see Pink or Christina Aguilera?
Oh, Christina Aguilera.
Okay. I like that. that. Which artist would you rather see in person? Would you rather see J. Cole or Lil Wayne?
Lil Wayne.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
All right, this last one is, which one would you rather see in person? NSYNC or Britney Spears?
Together? Well, I would want to see NSYNC only because I never had the opportunity when I was a kid. So
Okay.
it would be redeeming my childhood.
I can tell you I've seen 3 Justin Timberlake concerts. He's been amazing. He's been absolutely amazing. I saw 3 of them, so I got you on that. Okay. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Would you rather watch football or basketball?
Football.
Okay. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling?
Are you good at bowling?
Maybe not really. I've done a couple of strikes, but
do you need the bumpers?
Unfortunately, sometimes I do.
Okay. I don't know if we can bowl, Christine. I don't know if we can bowl. I'm just throwing that out there, but that's okay. That's all right. I feel you on that. Okay. Do you like desserts?
I do.
Okay, here we go. So I got 4 categories of desserts. You have to choose one of these you'll never eat again.
Oh, okay.
So here we go. First one is ice cream. The second one is cookies. That's any cookie. The third one is cake. That's any cake. The last one is candy. So that's gelatin and chocolate. Which one are you throwing away that you'll never eat again?
That's so sad. Probably ice cream.
Wow.
I'm not so much of an ice cream fan.
I can understand that. Okay. Are you a chip person? Do you like potato chips?
Yes.
Okay. This is the same structure. You got 4 brands and you got to get rid of one of them. Now, one of the brands that I'm not going to put in there is Cheetos.
I was going to ask. Please don't do
everybody likes Cheetos. Everybody likes some kind of Cheeto. So no, I'm not going to put that in there. But
cool.
Here's the 4. First one is Doritos.
Okay.
The second one is Ruffles.
Oh, okay.
The third one is Lay's.
Ooh.
The last one is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of for good?
Pringles.
Wow. I thought you would have said Lay's. I really did.
Oh,
but that's okay.
Pringles. Yeah, I love my Lay's. I'm a sour cream and onion girl. I'm a barbecue girl. So bye, Pringles.
I feel you on that. Now, do you like salt and vinegar chips?
I do. I really do.
Okay, that's why. I get it. I get it. Those are the second worst chip ever made. Second worst chip ever, I have to say. The first one is Original Fritos. Original Fritos is just the yuckiest.
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
If it's chili cheese Fritos, that's different. But that's just me. Okay. Two more of the this or that, and both of these are questions of one is a question of travel, one is a question of music. So, which place would you rather go to? Okay, would you rather go to France or would you rather go to Jamaica? Which one would you rather go to again?
Ooh, that's so tough.
No, I know.
Um, I would rather go to France. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it was so magical.
I
Yeah.
love. I do.
Yeah.
Now, last one for the music. Now, this is a hypothetical one because I
Okay.
don't think either one of these two are going to perform again live. But
Oh.
if you had a chance to see them, which one would you rather see? Would you rather see Celine Dion or Janet Jackson?
I would rather see Celine Dion because I saw the documentary and I like bawled throughout the whole documentary. And I've never seen her live before. And after
Me
watching
neither.
that documentary, I was like, oh my God, I really do hope that she goes and is able to perform. And I feel like I would be crying if I ever got to see her in person. Yeah.
She definitely has some bangers. Ain't no question about
Yeah.
that. She has some songs that I really enjoy. I've never seen her either. I probably would choose Celine Dion as well because I
Uh-huh.
have seen Janet. I've seen
Ah,
Janet. So
okay.
yeah, that was a birthday present that I took my mother to.
Oh,
So
how fun.
I took my mother to that one. So yes, because she loves Rhythm Nation and Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm like, Ma,
Yeah.
I wasn't born at that time. I don't I don't know what you're saying, but listen, she had a great time, so that's all that
Oh,
matters.
good. Good, good.
Absolutely, thank you. If Christina was not an entrepreneur or involved in communications, what
Mhm.
career would she have chosen to do, and why? What career path would she have went down?
Okay, believe it or not, I still feel like I would probably be an entrepreneur because it has always been my dream to have a coffee shop. And I also love cats. I'm a huge like we had a cat before she passed away 3 years ago, but
Okay.
I feel like I would want to have a cat cafe or be a veterinarian because I just love cats and I would just like only be a veterinarian for cats.
Wow.
But
Wow.
uh I would want to be a coffee shop owner. Like I love coffee and I would want to do that. But I also feel like I was a dancer growing up, and so I would love to
Okay.
like be a backup dancer, like go on tour or like
Mm.
just dance. But I don't know, for some reason, I still feel like that entrepreneurial bug would be there.
I like the fact that you dance. That's really nice. I like that. Are you a Pisces?
No, I'm an Aries.
Aries. Okay. The only reason why I ask is my mother is hugely in love with cats too, and
Ah,
she's a Pisces. Her birthday's late February, so I didn't know
oh,
if your birthday was like late February or early March or not. But
no,
that's
I'm
why I
Aries.
wanted to ask that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would love my whole dream is to have a cat cafe one day. And San Antonio does not have a cat cafe, so I feel like I need to get on this opportunity very soon.
Well, to be transparent with you, because you have been transparent with me, I've never tried coffee.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I never had coffee.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe my first time would be with you. How about that?
Yes, let's do it. Let's
Let's
do it.
do it. I've seriously never went to a Starbucks or a Caribou. I've never had coffee. Actually, I went to a Starbucks, but always had tea. I never had the coffee. So I don't know what to order. I wouldn't know what to get. I really would.
That's
So
honestly like when I travel, that's the first thing that I do. I make sure that whenever I go to a different state, I find a local coffee shop. That's my deal. I don't do like, yes, I love Starbucks, don't get me wrong, but like I love my local coffees and like everywhere I go, it's like first place, local coffee shop. So that's my thing.
wow. Okay. That's awesome. That's pretty awesome. What is some advice, Christina, that someone has gave you that
Mm.
you hold on dearly to?
Oh, this is such a great question. Um, I I feel and I believe that one of the best pieces of advice, or just like a statement, is like, we're all on our individual journeys.
Hmm.
And it could be very easy to look at the next person and say like, and feel like you're not advancing. But I think like one of the best pieces of advice is like, really hone in on what you want and take hold of that. Like, and be super unapologetic about it, and don't worry about what every other person is doing, and just
Hmm.
focus on like your journey.
That's very hard to do because a lot of people like to emulate people. They see them being successful, and it's a natural feeling, right? I'm sure I've seen different reporters, whether it's male or female, like, man, I could do that. I mean, they're at that status though. They're at that level, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably have seen some entrepreneurs like, you know what? I work hard, and like, man, I could be there too one of these days. But then you have to kind of reflect to yourself, like, your journey is your journey. Your time is your time. Your path is your path. There's a reason why you're on it, right? So
Yeah.
I do that, and I love that kind of advice because that's how I kind of live now. I really don't try to envy anybody anymore like that. When I first started, it was like that, but now I'm like, you know what? What's meant for me will be for me,
Oh,
regardless.
agreed. Yeah, I feel the
Absolutely.
exact same way. Hmm.
Now, we're coming to the end. We got some rapid fire questions. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing that comes to your mind, you let me know what it is. Okay. So here we go. Burgers or tacos?
Tacos.
Waffles or pancakes?
Waffles.
I'm sorry, your face changed when you said that. I was like, you were so intense about that. I was like, well, damn, did she have a bad pancake experience? I mean, I was like, okay. He was like, waffles. I was like, oh,
Waffles.
okay, right. All right, cool. I'm with it. Now, I don't know if there's Eggos or Belgium or what kind of waffle it is, but waffles. I get it. Totally get it. Do y'all have Waffle House, by the way, down there in San Antonio?
No, we do not.
Okay.
We have been protesting. We want it.
Okay, I got you. Here we go. If you had 3 albums to listen to with no skips, what would those albums be?
Britney Spears Blackout.
Mm.
Um, In Sync, No Strings Attached.
Oh, that was a good one. That was the last
Yeah.
one. No, that was the second one, I believe.
Yeah, that
Second.
was the second one. And then I am a Justin Timberlake fan as well. That was
Mm.
Mirrors is our wedding song. So I would say the 2020 Experience just won.
You cannot go wrong with that song. There's no
Yeah.
question about it. Yes, absolutely classic. Okay. If you had 3 people to take with you on an exotic trip, anywhere you want to go, right?
Mm.
For me, it probably would be the Maldives because I love me the Maldives. Where would you want to go, and who are those 3 people that you would take?
I would take obviously my husband, because like we love traveling. I would take my best friend, and I would probably take my mom. And I would say I have always wanted to go to like the Bahamas. Like I've never been to the Bahamas. Any island. So like any beach that's not South Padre Island, or like, the beaches out here in Texas.
Right,
So
right.
any beach like out of, but yeah, I would take my mom and my best friend, my husband.
Okay, I love it. Favorite color?
It's a mixture between pink and red. So it's like
Okay.
pink and red, but like I like both. They're kind of the same.
Favorite board game?
Ooh. Um, ooh. You can never go wrong with Monopoly, and you can never go wrong with Candyland.
Wow, 2 of my favorites, girl. I love that. Now, I'm a beast when I get Boardwalk and Park Place. They be hating me so bad when I get hotels on them things. But that's the story. Favorite card game?
Mm. Cards Against Humanity.
It's pretty good. It's pretty
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
Speaking of cards, spades or dominoes?
Dominoes, because I really don't know how to play spades.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, you're gonna show me coffee, right?
Yes, and you'll
Okay,
show me spades.
I will, because you can't come to the cookout if you don't know how to play spades.
Exactly.
You can't come to the cookout. Okay, I like that. We got two more for the rapid fire. Two more for the rapid fire. Dresses or jeans?
Dresses. 100%.
Okay,
It's too hot here in Texas.
it is hot. Now, listen. Some people like to walk around with some jeans and a baseball cap. Now, listen. You like to dress down, but listen, you like the glamorous, like the
Yeah.
dresses. I'm sure the dresses are going to look good. No question about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you said you were once come. This is the last one. You said you were once going to be a TV news reporter. Would you have wanted to be a reporter out in the field, or would you have wanted to be an anchor behind the desk?
Anchor behind the desk.
Hmm.
Yeah. I tried, in my years that I was trying to be a reporter, I was like the MMJs, right? The people that are the one
Carry
man
the
band.
equipment. Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
God. I'm a tiny thing. Like, no, I think that was when I realized like, no, I don't think I could do this. I love the sacrifice, but not that much. Like the equipment is bigger than me.
Right. Right. Right.
But
I
then
feel
guess
it.
what happened? We have now cell phones that we don't even need these big tripods, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I would
Absolutely.
want to be an anchor, 100%.
I could totally see that. My last ultimate question is there anything else that you would like to either add, include, promote about yourself before we conclude?
Ooh. I am gearing up for another conference. And I mean, the conference is not till 2025, but promotion starts. I mean, we start one full year, so even though I just ended the 2024, I'm already getting ready for that. So, tickets are going to go on sale probably closer to the end of the year as like an early bird promotion. And then 100% will go on sale in early 25. And, I'm just always looking for more opportunities to get my brand out there and speak at different places. So I'm a public speaker. And so if there's any conferences, summits, even in the reporting, like sports reporting, like last year I was at the Texas Association of Broadcast Journalism's conference convention, and I
Okay.
spoke about social media. So if there's any opportunities, anyone listening to this podcast, if there's opportunities for me to come and speak and travel, I do that as well. I'm always
Yeah.
just looking to meet people and to continue to spread awareness of the work that I'm doing in San Antonio.
Absolutely. Please continue to follow Christina's journey through her social medias. I know you're on Twitter. I know you're on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if you're on Instagram or not, but if you
Yeah.
are, I certainly will. I will follow you on all of those for sure if I don't already. I hope your next conference, I should say, is in the AT&T Center, which is where the Spurs play. I
Yeah.
hope that conference that big. That'd be amazing if you could
Yeah.
get that many people on there. That'd be amazing to do.
I know it would. We're growing. We're getting there. Like I think
Absolutely.
this one literally solidified like, all right, just maybe 1 or 2 more years and then we're going to take over all the convention center.
I love that. I love that. Well, listen, when I do come down into San Antonio, which will probably be sometime in the fall, we'll grab some coffee. We'll
I love
talk.
it.
And I love it. I'm definitely going to keep in touch with you. You enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. It was a pleasure talking to you, Christina, and we will be in touch.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.